So this would be my final example. This is of Tiger Woods.
Hmm.
And here I'm not just going to talk about the success and that's all. I'm also going to talk about the downturn that he faced and
Hmm.
what would indicate that. Okay, so that would make an interesting thing. So till now you've seen all the successful cases and
Yes.
you would have understood what works, right? And
Right.
so let's look at this particular case and understand. So for those who don't know, I mean, he's considered one of the greatest golfers of all times. I mean, he's won record number of majors and tour events, etc. And as soon as I mean, people were just waiting for him to be, I mean, they knew his potential from before. He got lots of sponsorship deals. I mean, one of the highest of those times. He had a great amount of success for many years, but then there was a scandal about his infidelity and his affairs outside of marriage, which broke out. Okay,
Hmm.
and then his image got a downturn. He got
Hmm.
divorced, and he also had accidents and other issues. Okay, and he's made comebacks, but again he has slipped. He's again making comebacks. It's not been an easy journey after that initial great success. So it
Hmm.
would be interesting to see. So here we have a Raj Yoga between Saturn and Mercury. Okay, Saturn is the fifth lord and Mercury is the first and 10th lord. Okay, and by the Saturn in Cancer itself is supposed to give Raj Yoga. Okay, Saturn
Hmm.
in Cancer or Pisces is supposed to be very strong. And the Ardha Lagna, okay, happens to be in Taurus with Mars, and Mercury is having Rashi Drishti on it, even Saturn is having. So you have a Mercury Mars association with the Ardha Lagna. There is another yoga, very important yoga, which is of Moon and Venus, okay,
Hmm.
which is the ninth lord and the 11th lord. Okay, so that is a kind of Dana yoga. Okay, in the third house, which you may generally associate with entrepreneurship and business and all that. So,
Hmm.
and he had definitely a good sponsorship deals and all that, right? And by the way, Saturn is also the sixth lord over here. So
Hmm.
the sixth house association also comes in this context. And if you look at the Navamsha in the 10th house, you have Drishti of Rahu as well as Mars amongst the other planets. These two
Hmm.
planets are also aspecting. So now, if we look at what happened, I mean, yes, he went to a very high level and all that. A lot of good yogas are there. By the way, this Dana yoga of Moon and Venus, the lot of this is Mars. So there's a Mars Venus Parivartana also
Hmm.
over here. So Mars is giving this Dhanam also with that. But there are issues as you see. This Moon is debilitated, right?
Hmm.
Uh, um, Rahu is aspecting it, and Mars is also aspecting it, right? Actually, Venus is the most afflicted over here, right?
Hmm.
Because Venus is with the debilitated moon, aspected by Rahu as well as Mars.
Hmm.
Yes, Jupiter Drishti is there, but there's definitely an affliction. Okay. Now, what one of the things you find over here is this Mars and Venus yoga, which you find repeated in the Navamsha also. This is called Bahustri yoga in the sense one wanting to enjoy many women, okay, which you find both in Rashi as well as in Navamsha. In fact, in Navamsha, it is in the eighth house.
Hmm.
Okay. And in fact, Venus is the 10th Lord. So definitely while they are giving wealth, but they are also going to create problem if he indulges in this, multiple affairs and all that.
Hmm.
So what happened is that many years he's been having many affairs and all that. But then one particular newspaper broke it out, and this happened in Sun Venus. Okay,
Hmm.
so you can see Venus is afflicted over here, Venus is afflicted over here. In fact, in Navamsha, Sun and Venus are together. Okay. Oh, I also forgot. Rahu and Sun are doing Papa Kartari on Venus and Moon over here. That is also there, right?
Hmm.
So, so this candle broke out. In fact, just a day or two after that, he had a very severe vehicle crash. I mean,
Hmm.
his car rammed into something, I think some fire hydrant or something, and but he escaped with some mild injuries. But they put a big fine on him and all that. So to add to the scandal, he also had this accident and all that. So Venus rules vehicles. So
Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
indicate, yeah. In fact, in this was in 2009. Okay, and then he went through a very hard time. His marriage broke off soon after that, and then he has struggled to come back on track after that. Okay, and he had another major accident. This was more severe. This happened in 2021. Okay, and this happened in Mars Rahu.
They should.
2021, he suffered another major accident, vehicular accident. Again, a vehicle accident, so Venus, and it happened in Mars Rahu. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so again, you can see Rahu is afflicting Venus over here, and then you have Mars afflicting Venus over here. Rahu, by the way, is in sign of Venus in Navamsha. So that is
Mm-hmm.
how you have Mars Rahu also causing the problem. So you find that he had a good yogas and all that, but again the planets which is giving him, like Venus is giving a lot of Dana yoga. See, Venus is not related that much to the sport per se, but it is giving him money. Okay, because this is Dana yoga, right? It's giving him a lot of money, but all that suffered because of this affliction on Venus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then his divorce also happened, and then after that, his life has not been that great. And his major success and all that happened in Venus Dasha, towards the later part of Venus Dasha, and in fact, largely in Sun Dasha. Sun, as you can
Mm-hmm.
see, is in own sign in the Navamsha. It is with the 10th Lord, Venus, which is a
Yeah.
benefic. So it is getting good results over here. Okay. But his problems all happened in Moon Dasha. You can see the situation of Moon over here. Moon is very badly placed. And even in Navamsha, I'll explain that later. Yeah. In fact, in Venus Dasha, he became a professional, but he had to undergo two surgeries. Okay, he had his eyesight was weak actually,
Mm-hmm.
and it was steadily going down. So in fact, he had definitely one surgery happened in the Venus Dasha itself. Okay, so he had to still overcome some problems in the Venus Dasha, but he was still successful. Okay, in Sun, as I said, he was successful. Moon is when the downturn happened. His divorce happened, and all the other problems that he faced. And just to show how it was very clearly the divorce which caused a lot of issues after him for him. You see, this was, I mean, you can never say for sure how many, but this was definitely his marriage was his second major relationship. I mean, amongst all the publicized relationships, this was second major relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that you would see from the second house of the Navamsha. Breakage of that you will see from the third house, and you have moon
Mm-hmm.
over there. Okay, and you can very
Uh,
clearly see the divorce, that is moon over here, is triggering all the problems. So we can go to the next slide. By the way, sorry, one other thing is the third house from Karakamsha. Karakamsha is over here in Pisces. Third house is having Rahu. Okay, so again
mm-hmm.
you have math over there. So, I mean, I don't want to repeat the positives, okay, but the negative part you can again see moon is in 12th house of the Dashamsha over here, okay. The other things you can see a Mercury Mars association over here. You have Venus well placed, and Sun is also well placed. He had a decent time in the Sun and Venus Dasha, as I said,
Mm-hmm.
but it
Mm-hmm.
was bad.
Yeah.
One aspect over here, if we can go to the previous slide,
Mm-hmm.
is we may argue, okay, what is Mars's link with either Rahu or Mercury or Virgo, or for even that matter, even with the sixth house. Okay, that is something very not clear over here. Okay, and I'll admit to that. What I can say is there are two things I can see as connection. Okay. One is that Mars and Mercury both are the only grahas in Trikona to the Lagna. They are
Mm-hmm.
in Trikona, Kona to the Lagna. So that there is a link that way. They are both
Yeah.
influencing together on the Lagna through that way. And Rahu in Navamsha is in the same sign as Mars in the this chart. So there is that connection is also there of Navamsha to Rashi. There's a
Mm-hmm.
Mars Rahu connection coming that way. And anyway, the Lagna happens to be Virgo. The
Yeah.
Lagna itself is Virgo, which is very important. 10th Lord is Mercury. So it is coming from that connection. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not direct as clearly as we saw in the other charts of a Mars, Mercury, or Rahu connection. It's not as clear as that. I'll admit to it. Another connection, just to repeat what I said earlier, is Ardha Lagna is in Taurus with Mars and Mercury is aspecting it. So that way, at least from the Ardha Lagna aspect, which is about the image of the person, that is definitely thinking to both Mars and Mercury. And one important point is here there is something called Mrityu Bhaga. Okay, Venus is near Mrityu Bhaga. And that is what his problems with related to vehicle crash and all that. Venus rules vehicles. Apart from that, Venus is also afflicted badly. So
Mrityu Bhaga is degrees, right? Some degrees.
it is based on certain degrees in a
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah.
Okay, so particular degrees are called Mrityu Bhaga. Either it is in that or near to that. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. In Sri Star, it shows like MB near. I see.
With that, I've completed all these slides. And if there are any questions?
Just let me check. Um,
So I hope the key concept is very clear through all these cases. You have seen 5 cases, and I have personally seen like more than maybe 50 or more cases of sports persons across different sports. Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, interestingly, I started with javelin throwers, so and all that. So I've seen this replicate in many charts.
Let's go with the questions, right?
Sure, sure.
Um, mm, well, there is a person who asks, he didn't join from the beginning, and he asks about the Ketu. Why don't we look at the Ketu? Because we have sportsmen that have discipline like soldiers. They sacrifice themselves. Mm, and go into action by the coach and trainer, just like this kid.
So the discipline aspect is actually coming from Mars. Okay.
Discipline
Mars
aspect
is
from us.
the most disciplined sign, if you say, is Aries. Okay. And ruled by Mars, so you have that military general kind of thing, like very clear. Soldiers are disciplined by the generals. So is the general, so you are is that where is the discipline coming from? It is coming from the commander, from the chief, or
Yeah,
whoever.
that's right.
That's Mars. But
Хороший вопрос.
anyway, to answer that question of, I've explained to you from the beginning of
Yeah,
how Mercury is created and all
yeah,
that.
that's
So
right.
yeah,
Just
go
look at the
through that, it will
beginning,
be clear. Yeah.
at the recording at the beginning. Yeah, why we look at these grahas that we look at. Another question. The sportsman. Does the career of sportsman depend on the coach? Because we have many examples that there is a rising star sportsman, and suddenly something happens. He change coaches, or coach maybe shifts, and he then cannot achieve this success. So what do you say about the change of the coach? Does it give the capability to pursue the success, or how can it influence? Do you understand the question?
Yeah, I understood the question. See, the factor about coach, okay, you have coach in sports,
Yeah.
you may have someone else in other, for example, I'm an astrologer. Without a guru, I will not be able to develop in astrology, right? So he's my mentor, my guru. I face problems, I go to him and he explains, okay, look at this, look at that, etc. And mentors me. So practically in every other discipline, a doctor also would require someone who teaches him, who trains him and all that. And they work as apprentice under some, or as an intern or whatever, right? So this thing is not like confined to sports alone, that you need a guru, a guide, a mentor, a teacher, a coach, someone to guide you through. You see that generally from, I mean, this particular aspect you see generally from the 11th house in a chart. Okay. Because the 11th house is like an elder brother. So
Mm-hmm.
that the relationship is like that of a younger brother and elder brother. You are asking for advice, and the elder brother guides you what you need to do, etc., etc. But this is not just confined to sports.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's nothing over there to define whether someone will have a sporting career or not.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. And there is one more question. Could you please repeat the issues with the eyesight? Do we look it from the sec for the with the second house, second lord?
Yeah, you can say second house, definitely. And there is Rahu over there. Um, I think Venus is also important because of, you're talking of Agni, and the direction of Agni is the planet
Mhm.
in that direction is Venus. Okay, and Venus is afflicted. So yes, that both these aspects are there, definitely.
Indications like um, okay, there are thanks and gratitude in the chat. You can later see on the on the YouTube stream with
Thank you.
translation. You can see. Thank you, Kartik ji.
And you
Thank
have
you
any
for
questions
this.
yourself?
Hmm?
Any questions you have?
Uh, well, I have some questions. Well, I think I'm not. I think with this session, we can think of to how to answer it. Like, what indicators will suggest the preference for intellectual sports like chess, checkers? And I think you have already answered with the Rahu thing, with the head. When you think of the uh, thinking thing, or Mercury as the strategic, without emotions, without violence. Chess and checkers, there is no violence, there is no like suppression in this type of sports. So we can think of this kind of
Uh,
thing.
See, so one disclaimer, the entire thing on the sports psychology thing which I've shared,
Yeah.
okay? If you notice, I didn't talk about that at all through the entirety of the five examples which I've given, okay? Because that is something I'm presenting, it's like something very interesting to think about, but I have to do more research, and anyone is free to do more
Hmm.
research, whether it works or not. But at this juncture, I can't stick my neck out and say that, if you see Mercury strong. For example, let's take Pele, for example. Pele had Mars and Rahu as the key yogas. But when I think of Pele, in my mind, what comes to me is Mercury, honestly speaking.
Yes, that.
But maybe I don't know. I don't know Pele well that much. So it's a very psychology is such a subjective thing that
Hmm.
we can't really say anything from outside about it. Okay, so hence that entire area of study is something I'm presenting. Okay, let's start off and think about it. But at this juncture, what I can say very very clearly is what I said at the beginning. What can show a sports person?
Hmm.
I can't say for sure that Rahu will indicate a chess or a checkers for that matter.
Hmm.
And by the way, Guruji Sanjay ji has said once, we think chess is non-violent, but chess is one of the most violent because mentally that person is very violent. In the sense, mentally he has to go for the kill, right? It's a very, very attacking game.
Hmm.
Yeah, for me, I think chess is Mars Rahu for sure. It's like a combination of Mars Rahu. I don't really see Mercury in it.
Hmm.
If you see all the chess players, they're very serious guys. They're
Logic,
very
strong logic, strong Agni
strong
of
logic.
the.
They don't have the play. I mean, they don't have the playfulness. I would say I
Ah,
would generally put it with Mercury, right?
good point, good
But
point. Yeah.
this is a psychological point. One has to really research. One has to check the charts of maybe 10, 20, 30 chess players and see what makes them a chess player.
Hmm.
This I'm just presenting today. I don't think anyone has presented such a wide comprehensive thing on sports itself. Okay,
Hmm.
so I put this forward as the first initial foray on sports. See, this is an interesting thing. Okay, at least you can find out who could be a sports person. Say a 12, 13-year-old uh, would be Djokovic's
Mhm.
father comes to you and asks, my son is not focusing on studies, is all the time playing tennis. Do you think he's having any future? In so you can say, I can't say about tennis, but I can say he can be a great sports person for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's a good point. Practical, practical.
That that answer I think we can give today basis what I have presented.
Mhm.
I don't know really for sure. And I'll be honest, I don't know. And you see, another very interesting thing I'll say, Ivan, is we are basing all this on Rashi, Navamsha, and Dashamsha. I mean, Dashamsha itself is a 10-minute gap of Lagna. So many people are born in that 10-minute period. Not everyone becomes a Djokovic,
Yeah, that's right.
right? So there must be something more, right? Something more beyond Navamsha, Dashamsha, and Rashi chart, something beyond that. Okay, maybe it's Sashtyamsha, maybe it's something beyond that. I don't know. But I think somewhere there the answer lies. Some fine changes in Lagna at a very, very high level is making someone a Djokovic, maybe someone born half a minute,
Mhm.
1, 2 later is not a Djokovic. There's just one thing which occurred to me all of a sudden. USSR was known, I mean, the former USSR and even today Russia is like the sporting powerhouse in chess, right? So, I mean, for many decades, like you people dominated on chess like anything, right? Karpov, Kasparov, and whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, and it just occurred to me that the Rashi that Guruji associates with Russia or probably USSR is Aquarius.
Mm.
He calls it the
Mm.
Great Bear. Okay, and Aquarius is ruled by Rahu. How could it be? And the 10th house is Scorpio, ruled by Mars, also.
And the 10th house is Scorpio ruled by Mars. Yeah. Mhm. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Yes.
Om Guru.